Assalamu alaikum class. My name is Dr. Ghulam Mustafa and I'm here your instructor of microeconomic analysis Econ 4141 from University of Education, Lower Mall Campus, Lahore. Uh, we had some blackout in the country and so there was some electricity issues in some of the areas and students could not attend the classes, and there was also a net issue, so we are recording these lectures for compensating that particular week's lecture. Today we will discuss the monopsony in the labor market, pricing in monopsonistic labor market, and how the competitive firm decide to hire. So we will discuss this topic today. Monopsony. When we talk about the monopsony, it's opposite to the monopoly in the sense that in monopoly there are single. We had some characteristics of monopoly that there are many characteristics of monopoly, but one of that is the single seller. Here it's the opposite in the sense that in this case we study the single buyer. And for instance, when we see the factor markets where the a competitive firm hire the inputs, in a competitive market we consider they are price taker, because we saw that in our previous classes and principle of microeconomics that most of the firms regarding the factor markets they are price taker because they cannot influence the market. They are the buyer of a very small portion of the big factor markets. In many situations, however, in many situations firms are not price taker for the inputs they buy, right? It often may be necessary for the firm to offer a wage. If this case is there that firms cannot buy, I mean, when firms are not price taker, usually it happens there's a only single buyer. So in that case, the firms hire because they are facing exactly demand for labor. Its demand is a downward sloping, exactly like monopoly had the face the demand downward sloping demand curve. In this situation, when a monopolist want to sell one more unit of the output, he must have to reduce the prices. Similarly here, when the monopsony firm hire one more unit of the input, in this case labor, he must have to, if he has to attract the one more labor, he must have to increase the wages. When he increase the wages, he must have to increase the wages of his previous worker. So it included the cost, that the marginal expenses. He when he hire one more unit, for instance, when our university hire one more, this is, although this is a perfect competition, when university hire one more lecturer or professor, there are many costs involved with that. Despite from the salary, university also spends some of the expenses, right? But if this is the only hirer of the input, for instance, suppose, then to attract one more unit to the labor, he must have to increase the wages, and due to this, he must have to increase the wages of this previous worker. So, in the monopsony, when the monopsony is that there is a single buyer, right? When he take one more unit of the input, that is the labor, he must has to increase the wages and wages of the previous worker, and then the cost involved with that, right? To increase its hiring of labor by one more unit, it must move to a higher point of the supply curve, right? This will involve the paying not only higher wages to the marginal worker, previous worker, but also additional wages to those workers already employed. So the cost along exactly this curve, when we see the graphically, like when we see the marginal revenue curve with the demand curve, we draw the marginal revenue curve. In monopoly, here we draw the marginal expense curve with the supply curve, right? So we will see this in our graphical explanation. When we see this is we see this mathematically, the marginal expense associated with hiring the extra unit for the labor exceeds its wages. We can show this mathematically as follows. Total cost of labor, we know that number of labor multiplied by wage rate, that is WL. So when we see when there is a change of the labor, when we increase one more unit of the labor, when there is a change in labor at margin, then margin expense for labor is change in WL hour with respect to L. When we this is the when we apply the product rule there on WL, the rule is that the first term come as such, and we take the derivative of the second term, dl over dl, that will become to 1, and then the first term derivative of the first term, right, w dw over dl, then this derivative of dw, that become the 1. Derivative of L will become the 1, right? So this is a product rule. We apply the product rule. So it will become marginal expense is equal to W plus dW over dl. This is very important, and it's worth need to focus on it. This one, when for example, if dW over dl is equal to 0, if dw the second term will be 0, it means when we are hiring extra labor, then there is no changes in the expenses, then this is the perfect competition case, right? And marginal expense of hiring one more worker is simply the market wages, because there is no changes. When we are hiring one more unit of the labor, there is no changes in the wages. This is the competitive case. But if the dw over dl is greater than 0, the marginal expense curve exceed the wages. Marginal expenses exceed the wages. This is the second case, and this is usually happen in the monopsony, right? So this is the competitive case when dw over dl is equal to 0, and the marginal expense of hiring one more worker is simply the market wages. And this is the second case when dw over dl is greater than 0, right? In summary, we can say that the marginal expense associated with any input is the increase in total cost of the input that results from hiring one more unit. If the firm faces an upward sloping supply curve for the input, the marginal expense will exceed the market price of the input. And this is what the second case is. The dw over dl is greater than 0. And in summary, we can say that the firm faces an upward sloping supply curve as the firm faces an upward sloping supply curve for the input, right? There is one let's see, there is a contradictions, because in monopoly we say that there is no supply curve, but this figure we say that this is analogy to that of the monopoly. But there is a criticism on this one. We will see in the graphical analysis. This is a graphical analysis. We face upward sloping supply curve, right? and then there is the demand. Here demand curve is like marginal revenue product, right? It's just like marginal revenue product. In the margin productivity of labor multiplied by price of the output. This is what the value of margin product, right? Margin value of marginal product. So this is when the marginal we simply say that if a firm faces a positively slope supply curve for labor S, if the firm faces upward sloping supply curve, it will base its decisions on the marginal expense of additional hiring. All its decisions will be made on the marginal expense curve, right? Because S is positively sloped, the marginal expense curve lies above the S curve. The curve S can be thought of as this S curve is thought to be as an average cost of hiring one more unit of the labor, right? One more unit of the labor, and the marginal expense curve is marginal to S. It's like we draw in case of monopoly. So in case of at L1, the equilibrium condition sets in marginal expense curve is equal to the marginal revenue product. And here when there is a when we see this demand curve is the is like a value of the margin product. It is also this demand curve is also value of the marginal product, because when he hire one more unit of the labor, when it will multiply by a price, the when margin productivity of labor is multiplied by price of the output, it will become the value of margin product, and it's we this demand curve exactly that one. And when this ME, where this demand curve and margin expense curve cut, here the in monopsony the labor is decided, and at this, because at this W1, where when we draw this one with the this on supply curve, when this W1 exactly comes on at supply curve, at this wage rate is determined. So at L1 the equilibrium condition, that is ME is equal to marginal revenue product or value of the margin product whole, and this quantity will be hired at market wage rate W1, right? However, in perfect competition, right, in competitive case where supply and demand interact, we say that this is L star and W star wages determine. And this is one similarity in the monopoly and this monopsony, because in that case when monopolistic in monopoly, he is facing downward sloping demand curve, and he monopolist increase the prices to increase his rent, monopoly rent, right? When he increases the prices, right, and his profit will be increased. In this case, the in monopsony, he also hire the labor below the perfect competition case, right? Perfect competition case, in both case allocative efficiency disturb, and he to monopsony firm keep the number of labor below the competitive case to increase his rent or profit or monopsony profit, right? So this is the L star and W star is the competitive case, and he keep the worker below this level. This is one, we can say, the similarity between the this is the only similarity between these monopoly and monopsony. There is one criticism, we can say there is one criticism on this figure. This is just a theoretical, and most of the book, and in this book also, Nicholson and Snyder, it cannot be rigorously defended. In particularly the demand curve, it is supposed to be represent the demand or marginal revenue product curve for labor. It has no precise meaning for the monopsony firm, that's the buyer of labor, because we cannot simply construct this curve by confronting the firm with the fixed wage rate. Instead, the firm views the entire supply curve as and use the auxiliary curve, marginal expense curve, to choose the most favorable point on S. In strict sense, there is no such thing as in monopsony demand curve. This is analogous to the case of monopoly, for which we could not speak of the monopolistic supply curve, because there is no such case in a supply curve. But this is just on a theoretical backgrounds. For simplicity, we say that this W1 below the marginal expense curve wage rate are determined, and L1 and W1 wage rate under the monopsony case, but in perfect competition cases L star and W star. This is one criticism on this diagram. This is what we previously discussed. If a firm faces a possibly slow supply curve for labor S, it will base its decisions on the marginal expense of additional hiring. Because S is positive slope, the marginal expense for labor curve lies above the S. The curve S can be thought of as an average cost of labor curve, and the marginal expense curve is marginal to S. At L1, the equilibrium conditions, like we have seen that in graphical analysis, marginal expense curve is equal to marginal revenue product holes, and this quantity will be hired at market wage rate W1. Notice that the monopsonist buys less labor than would be bought if the market were perfectly competitive, that we have seen. There is a similarity between monopoly and monopsony. We see some more similarity. We know that from our intermediate microeconomics that a monopoly firm, let's recall it, that a monopoly firm produces less of the good that would be a competitive firm by reducing the quantity offered for sale, right? The monopoly firm moves along the product demand curve, rising the price and also its profit. That in monopoly we see this one. Similarly, in monopsony firm, in a labor market, hires fewer workers than would be a competitive firm. By reducing the number of jobs available, the monopsony firm moves along the labor supply curve, right? Or like in monopoly case, the monopoly firm moves along the product demand curves. Here, monopsony firm move along the labor supply curve, reducing the wages it pays and raising its profit, right? The monopsony firm moves along the labor supply curve, while monopoly firm moves along the product demand curve. And in this way, both firm increase their profit, and thus both monopolist and this monopsony firm reduce economic activity in a market below the socially optimal level, and in both cases the existence of market power distorts the outcome and causes deadweight loss. uh, we can say that right, when there is a perfect competition, there is a no deadweight loss to the producer, to the consumer, to the society. But in this case there is a some losses to the society in case of monopsony and in case of monopoly. This is one similarity. Let's move toward the mathematical some part. This is a perfect competition. How the competitive firm decide to hire in a perfectly competitive market. This example is taken from the Principle of Microeconomics by Gregory Mankiw book, 5th edition. This is a case in agriculture where number of labor is applied. When there is a zero worker, there is no output. But if one worker is higher, there is 100 bushels of wheat can be produced. 100 bushels or 100 kg or 100 mons or one. We can take any inputs for the any unit for this one. But if we see 100 bushels for wheat, additional, when we hire one worker, 100 bushels of wheat can be produced, or 100,000 kg of wheat can be produced. Apple can be produced, any you can say the agriculture output, right? If the second worker is hired, the output will be 180, third worker 240, when there is a fourth worker 280, and fifth worker 300, right? So what is the margin product of labor? That is the first worker's margin productive is 100 bushels. The second worker's, that is 180 minus 100, that's 80. Then 60, then 280 minus 240, that is 40. And then fifth worker margin productivity is 20. And if we suppose that there is a price, let's say $10, if price of one bushel is a $10, then value of margin product would be 1000 for first worker, 800 mean output price multiplied by margin productivity of labor, that is 100, 800, 600, 400, 200. There is a fixed wages, $500, because wages at particular time remain fixed. So this is the wages, right? So what will be the margin profit? That is value of margin product minus wages. 1000 minus 500 is a 500. This is the profit for the owner. Second worker, his profit is reduced to 300, mean 800 minus 500, 300. 600 for the third worker is 100. And then profit declines when we say that at what point the manager should stop hiring the labor. This is the fourth labor. At third labor he should stop hiring, because when the fourth worker comes, the margin profit becomes negative. This is the perfect competition case. But in case of monopsony, the case will be different. This is the example from Nicholson and Snyder 16.4. This is like let's say, suppose a coal mine worker can dig 2 tons of coal per hour and coal sells for $10 per ton. A one worker can dig 2 ton of coal mining, is working in coal mining, and he can dig 2 tons in 1 hour, and output price of the output will be $10 per ton. So it means we can say that the output price is $10. Margin productive worker is 2 ton for 1 hour. If the coal miner is the only hired of the miners in a local area and faces labor supply of the farm L is equal to 50 W, we can say therefore value of margin product, what is margin productivity, we have seen the 2 ton, value of the margin product 2 multiplied by 10, that is the 20. So the value of margin product, margin revenue product will be 20. The total cost of labor to firm is total cost is WL, number of labor multiplied by wage rate. So from the first equation we can see that W is equal to L over 50. So we put the value of W here and it will become L square over 50. We see that the margin expense, what is the margin expense curve, is the change in the total cost, or when there is a DWL over DL. What is the DW is L square over in previous slide we see L square over 50. When we take the derivative of L square over 50, it will become 2 into L over 50 and this will become L over 25. We know that margin expense is equal to value of margin product from our graphical illustrations. So this will be M is equal to MRP or VMP or value of margin product. L over 25 is equal to 20. So here the in this Monopsony firm, he will hire the 500 workers. So what will be the wages? That in our supply curve we see the L is equal to 50 W. From here what is the wages? That is the L over 50. So this will become L 500 worker, 500 over 50 is a $10. So here the wages will be $10. But if the mine operator had been forced by the market competition, or market competitions, or there is a labor unions, they will for some of the reason if they will force to pay $20 per hour regardless of the number of the miner hire, then the market equilibrium would be the established with L is equal to 1000 worker. That is mean supply curve is L is equal to 50 W. So wage rate by government laws or by regulation or by enforcement of the some labor laws, or government strict the mine wages $20 per work per hour, then it will become 50 multiplied by 20 is 1000 worker. So if the labor unions or government push the Monopsony firm to increase the wage rate from $10 to $20. Suppose if output price is increased to $15, so margin productivity is simply $2 and value of the margin productivity then will become 15 multiplied by 2 is equal to 30, right? So previously we have seen the total cost of labor to the firm is WL or L square over 50. When we see the margin expense curve is same like L over 25, and when we equate this margin expense curve is equal to value of margin product curve, then L over 25 is equal to 30. Here the number of worker, if the output prices will increase, then 750 workers. In previous case we have seen that is 500 workers when there is a output price output price is $10. In this case, when output price is $10, the equilibrium number of worker will be 500 workers. But if the output prices will increase to $15, there is a more profit for the Monopsony firm. He will hire more number of laborers. That will become the 750 workers, right? In this case, wages wages is equal to L over 50. That will become 750 over 50 is equal to $15. So this will be the wage rate, $15. Number of labor is 750. This is what we can say, that when there is a increase in number of when there is an increase of output prices, then both wages and quantity of labor will be increased. Thank you very much. This is all about today's lecture. Please stay away from corona. Thank you very much, and Allah Hafiz.